Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Let's start with my topic. Before I really start with my topic, thanks to MLTAP and Mr. Ali and Mr. Mubarak to invite me and give this talk. Thank you very much. Okay, the middle one? Yeah, okay. We're starting. This is the first? Okay, so I'll just jump into the topic, correlation of point of care blood gas analyzer with benchtop instrument. Are we comparing apples to oranges? Let's just have a little look. I will just actually present you with a little case and we will follow up from there. The new clinical chemistry technical supervisor is asked to evaluate the use of point of care blood gas analyzer for use by the respiratory care department and by the personnel in surgery, and also to compare its patient results to those from the benchtop gas analyzer. Prior to performing method evaluation of the new instrument and method comparison study of both instruments in order to determine validity, the technical supervisor from the laboratory was asked first to report on advantages and shortcomings of the use of point of care blood gas analyzer. He was asked to actually comment on that. Before actually we divulge and jump into this case and actually tear it into parts and explain what point of care testing devices and why quality control is important in point of care, let's just look at the history. Back in 1955, hematology testing manuals had documented practice of on-site patient care in England. So the point of care testing devices history dates back to 1955. Then Dr. Cost in 1972 conceptualized the new field of patient-focused testing in original visual logistics by beginning the study of biosensors and monitoring of pH changes under cardiopulmonary stress and shock in vivo. This test, which was done on bedside, was actually being done in vivo. Rather than when we actually look at point of care testing devices, what we use right now are actually most of them are in vitro. We take the sample and we perform it. So this is like in vivo doing it. But Dr. Cost in 1970 did it in vivo actually. Then he actually coined the term point of care testing in 1980 while performing these biosensor-based serial measurements of ionized calcium in whole blood at the bedside of the patient, which were going hepatic transplantation at the University of California, say Davis Medical Center. Point of care testing devices, what the College of American Pathologists, CAP, defines it. It says that it's used at or near the site where the patient is located that do not require permanent dedicated space and that are performed outside the physical facility of the laboratories. And what does ISO 2287 2016 defines it? Testing that is performed near or at the site of the patient with the result leading to possible change in the care of the patient. All right, so you have got many names for the point of care. You can call it near patient testing, bedside, ancillary, alternative, decentralized. It's a field which is actually developing very rapidly in terms of analytical quality and clinical reach. We have got types of POCTs, one which is non-integrated, and what's actually non-integrated means. This is a category which is, of course, it's conducted outside of the traditional laboratory setup, but it's not integrated with a unified device, any kind of a system or laboratory information system. Laboratories, of course, the centralized laboratories do have laboratory information system with this barcoding and everything and archiving of the patient results for a number of years if you have a very good systematic instrument down there. Now, your POCT, which are not integrated, falls into this category. What are the rules of these? These tests typically rely on the reagent strips, kits, and involve the interpretation of the results by visual cues which help professionals use it. Rapid examples, HIV test, pregnancy test, urine dipstick tests, they are all non-integrated POCTs. What are the integrated POCTs? They are the devices which have got the connectivity with the diagnostic tool that can transmit the test results to a centralized database, laboratory information system, or a healthcare provider's electronic medical record system through wireless or wire connectivity. Now this is really important because it would help anybody who is using off-the-site or point-of-care testing devices and which is integrated. That means we can have a recall of the information for the patient, and we can keep a tab, and you can actually have a data acquisition and data management as well in it. Real-time monitoring of the patient can be done, timely interventions, and remote consultations with healthcare providers. You can see POCT has got applications everywhere, be microbiology, be molecular diagnostics, as in if you want to find out the microbes using molecular diagnostic techniques, be a clinical chemistry lab, a hematology lab, you're looking for something in the serology lab, you name it and POCT is there. Diabetes and hormone measurement and everything. These are the examples of commercial benchtop devices, microfluidic system, which is now rise with biosensors, and it's increasing and actually rapidly developing. We can actually interface this POCTs with smartphones as well, and you can retrieve the data anytime, anywhere. POCTs, the entire idea of actually coining that technology was to not bring the sample to the lab, rather take the lab to the patient, that kind of a thing. Anyways, so this is again giving you a bit of information before actually we jump into another slide. The advantages is that, of course, it's rapid turnaround time, TATs, sensitivity, specificity. Near patient, you need very less amount of volume of a sample. Similarly, you need very less amount of the time. So these are the advantages. Yet there are disadvantages of point-of-care testing devices, which are actually you cannot monitor it because there's no organized control system or quality control management system for POCTs. As a result of that, there's no system to actually archive the data, recall the data, or if there are any biases, we cannot actually comment on them. Similarly, when you're doing that, there's no system to record the patient's identity and relate the result with the sample as well. So these were the advantages with what the clinical specialist was asked, the laboratory specialist was asked to actually comment on first before he compared it. Now let's come to point-of-care blood gas analyzer. My question from the audience, towards the audience is that, is the blood gas analyzer which was placed in the respiratory care department is a weave test or a non-weave testing system? Where would you place it? From the students specifically I am asking, of course. Anybody can answer. Is it a weaved or it's a non-weaved? Okay. Should the clinical chemistry technical supervisor advise to integrate the POCT analyzer to centralized database, laboratory information system, or the electronic record system through wireless or wired connectivity? This is another question. All right, the answer for the first question is that it is a non-weaved test. That means the operator needs to be trained. So the specialist is going to first advise the respiratory care unit who's placing the blood gas analyzer that you need to actually have a personnel, or you need to train the personnel who are going to use this blood gas analyzer. Secondly, when we talk about this is a non-weave test. That means it needs to be integrated with the laboratory information system. Because remember, we are using this, and if the personnel are not in the respiratory care unit, in the ICU, in the NICU, that is neonatal intensive care, they're not trained, of course we would not be able to keep the tab on the results. And that is actually, again, as what Mr. Jahanzeb has said, many roles of the people who are from medical laboratory technology. This is one of the roles. They can actually act as a consultant and specialist when it comes to giving advices what to do with point-of-care testing devices, which is an untouched business in Pakistan altogether. Dilemmas. What are the dilemmas we are facing? Knowledge in good laboratory practices by POCT end user, including physicians and allied health professionals working in patient care using these devices, is limited. They do not have much knowledge about that. These end users do not demonstrate commitment to quality assurance, quality control, which is essential for the reliability what point of care testing devices is generating. Proposed solution. Regulatory bodies such as Joint Commission on Accreditation of Healthcare Organization and College of American Pathologists, they recommend oversight by the central laboratory for all hospital-based POCTs. If your POCT is hospital-based and it is in the ward rather than in the central laboratory, people working in central laboratories, specifically the allied health professionals, the MLTs, they should bear this responsibility rather than they should shoulder this responsibility and take a lead. This is one of the roles the MLTs should take. In reality, what happens? This is the solution which has been proposed, but in reality what's happening on the ground, what we see, mostly POCT devices used in hospitals and in laboratories are not integrated, or they lack connectivity to any kind of laboratory information system. There's no information captured regarding the QC performance because nobody performs it. The person who performed the testing, we don't know the training level of the person. Does he know what the POCT is to begin with? No, I'm so sorry. Transmission of POCT, I deserve this time. Transmission of POCT results to the laboratory information system. They do not know that as well. This is a cause of concern regarding the reliability of use of POCT and the results generated thereof. Furthermore, it is probable that this kind of testing is carried out without standardization of training or supervision by the qualified laboratory personnel. So you need to be qualified for that as well. Need of the hour. For non-integrated POCT, a framework considering all regulatory requirements should be designed and initiated as a practical guide at inpatient and outpatient care settings. The framework should be developed bearing in the mind the challenges these people are going to face. Laboratory QA and QC instructions for non-integrated and integrated devices should be included in the curriculum of both BS programs in clinical laboratory sciences and in the National Chemical Pathology residency programs as well. This will educate the laboratory technologists/scientists and future chemical pathologists on how to establish, evaluate, and maintain the quality of in-clinic or inpatient POCTs. Scope of the framework is to cover and provide oversight to the handheld, integrated and non-integrated devices, measuring single or multiple analytes in hospital and outpatient settings, fieldwork research settings in rural or low resource settings as well. Direct bedside testing, it can be used as a satellite laboratory located either in the emergency unit or in acute care settings as well. The framework needs to be flexible to adapt advancement witnessed in the field of POCT or lab on chip. And that is what is the future is actually, because nanotechnology is taking a foothold. We all talk about nanotechnology and it might lead into pico technology as well, because everything is being miniaturized. Hospitals should have in place the coordination program, a complete team which should ideally be a clinical laboratory director, a chemical pathologist, and of course a managerial and of course a medical technologist, which should bear all the managerial and administrative responsibilities for the program. The technologist should also be part of the program. Representatives from all the departments of the pathology and laboratory should be involved in that. People from quality control and quality assurance as well. IT personnel, the most important if you want to integrate your point of care testing devices, personnel from there, because it's laboratory information system. All right, what are the domains which the person and the leadership should work on is why the POC needs to be introduced, first of all. What would be the quality assurance system which you will work on? You need to educate everyone who's involved in this team, who's going to take care of it, administration and management. Before bringing any POCT in a program, it needs to be assessed and following should be an evaluation criteria. What is the diagnostic caveat that clinician are anticipating for performing POCT? अगर लैब में पहले ही कुछ मौजूद है जो उससे अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस दे रहा है तो POCT लाने की ज़रूरत ही क्या है? सही है, तो पहले ऑफकोर्स नीड असेसमेंट ज़रूरी है. Is this POCT cost effective? Based on clinical requirements, what is the unacceptable turnaround time for each POCT which is under evaluation? What are the potential risks to the patient because of non-integration with the laboratory management system, information system? How will the clinical laboratory control these risks? Lab का क्या role होगा और technologists का क्या role होगा? Specifically people who are involved with quality control. It is again, you have to vary, it's a weaved or a non-weaved. Remember the weave test को control करना, it's nearly impossible because weave test तो layman भी use कर रहा होता है, POCTs. So वो control करना तो it's again another story altogether. The protocol of accuracy and all that, precision, verification of the cutoffs, reportable range, POCT inter-instrument comparison, benchtop analyzer placed in the central laboratory should be compared with the, of course should be compared, जो benchtop के साथ compare करना है आपको. As per CLSI guidelines, clinical laboratory system की जो guidelines हैं and the quality management system approach, following should be actually followed. A QA and QC and test utilization, and a person should be designated for that. These are the policies, right? And a training curriculum should be there as well. Why it's not coming? As well as adherence to the legal requirements of the health. What are the legal requirements? And you need to do the quality control, proficiency testing, and validation processes should be carried out and confirmed and documented as well. And they should be done on regular basis. And what would you do? Record keeping, billing, archiving, patient result. This all should be recorded in the electronic medical record or the laboratory information system. And what are they actually would help us? It will help us, the user who's trained. It would actually help to maintain the competency records and reagents and cartridges utilized, device validation and everything. And this is actually the staff training ka pura algorithm hai, which I'm skipping because I know people have lost their interest. The inadequate goals for POCT are equivalent to those used for the central laboratory, of course. They are the same goals which we have for central laboratory. Do not compromise on the standards of patient care and clinical decision making. And we should be actually looking at the risk assessment, pre-analytical, analytical and post-analytical. Of course, evaluation of the 5 components of the POCT testing: specimen, test system, reagents, cartridges, POC site ka environment, and the testing personnel. And it should have an individual quality control plan for the devices. And of course, let's just skip that. This is important. The assurance system should have policies and standard operating procedures, logs of training and competency assessments, and of course the QC reviews, proficiency testing, performance reviews, turnaround time, log of critical results informed, and complaint reports, logs of maintenance and breakdowns as well. The conclusion is that both direct and indirect supervision by the clinical laboratory to ensure that the management system is there, and major recommendations should be included. And written policies होनी चाहिए. End user की training बहुत important है. Properly established validated reference intervals, and the paradigm may help deliver diagnostic services to low resources centers in the absence of the central pathology lab. That is why it's important to bring that into the major curriculum and the training of the medical laboratory technologists. Thank you very much.